Hello, Master Numerologist Andre Alvin Moore, and it's been over 1,000 days, and the fighting between Russia and Ukraine is still going on. So let us pray that this war comes to an end sooner than later. Okay, thank you. Today's lesson is called the Eternal Soul. The word soul, soul, and the word self are interchangeable. So when I say the self, I mean the soul, and when I say the soul, it represents the self. So it's just an interchangeable word. Eternal has nothing to do with time. Eternalness is just a state of being, but you must be aware. If you're not aware, then it's impossible for you to know. So, in order to know, you must be aware. You must be conscious. If you're sleeping, then there's no way of knowing what's going on around you. And this is what happens when you incarnate in a body that I refer to as flesh. You don't know about your eternity. You only, because you're not aware of your eternity, you're only aware of what your five physical senses is conveying to you. What you smell, what you hear, what you see, what you feel, what you touch. That's what you are aware of. And so that makes it real for you. But your eternal soul, you're not aware of it. But yet, that's what you are, the eternal self. The soul, sometimes called the self, is buried in the flesh. The flesh belongs to the exterior world, the soul, the interior. The flesh is heavy. The soul finds it hard to push through the weight of the flesh. The soul suffocates under this mound of flesh. This mound blocks light. It keeps the soul exhausted as it goes against this heavy weight. So the soul waits for its opportunity to reveal itself to flesh. The flesh enjoys indulging in the delights of the world. It has so many choices, so many options. Its appetite for sensual sensation is ravenous. Never satisfied, it keeps searching for its next thrill. The flesh is greedy, nibbling on all it comes into contact with. As it nibbles, it grows fatter, heavier, and lazier. The poor soul must wait it out. Sometimes hundreds of lifetimes exist before an opening so that it can be free. The eternal soul tries to free itself through intuition, sending signs, sending signs to the flesh through dreams to catch its attention. But the flesh ignored these light flashes and continued to enjoy its outer world of pain, joy, life, death, love, and hate. The eternal soul sits in silence and solitude. hoping for enlightenment to shine upon the flesh. One cannot know if one is not aware. To be aware is absolute power. Most know that their bodies contains blood and flesh, but they do not know their soul. They are told that they have a soul, but are not aware of it. So they do not accept that they have a soul. The word eternal has 7 letters. Number 7 are spiritual steps called chakras. Each one, when activated, offers you a glimpse of your eternity. While in a physical encasement, you cannot see your complete body with your eyes. Most would only catch glimpses of their eternal self. All souls touch every aspect of eternity, but that touching goes undetected due to the fault of our eyesight, which sees division. Do not see yourself as incomplete. The eternal self is whole, complete, and lacks for nothing. The letter E vibrates on the 5th level, and the number 5 rules the flesh through its 5 senses. These senses imprison you in a phantom realm where everything appears real. Do not chase after ghosts. In one moment, they are in your grasp, and the next, they are gone. Poof. The letter T vibrates on the 2nd level. Number 2, the twin sister of number 1. Number 1 must have a vessel that will receive it so it may cast a veil of cosmic illusion which fools you into thinking that you are only flesh and blood. Number 2, the sister, the twin sister of number 1. What do I mean by that? Okay, number 1, totality, does not move. Think about it. If it moved, then that would indicate that it's not total. You understand? Its totality is all encompassing. So the 1 never moves. But within the one, there's movement. But in order for the 1 to move, it must be received. Understand? That would be the goddess energy. That would be female energy, the receiver of the 1 energy. For an example, a man symbolized by a phallic symbol, the 1. If it's not received, then we do not have procreation. So, in order for the 1 to bring about the manifestations of the cosmic illusion, it must be received in order to give birth. But the 1 in itself does not move. Where is it going to go? It's already all pervasive. It's just the illusion that there's movement. But in reality, there's just the 1. But we play within the 1's playground of illusion, and we measure our life by the time, space, movement. But all of those concepts are false. There's only God, and you are connected to God. You understand? So let's move on. Letter E vibrates on the 5th level. To realize your eternal self, You must cut ties with the material realm of cosmic illusions. Once cut, you are free. As long as you play on the playground, you will never be free. Because as long as you have desires and wants, then you have to fulfill those desires and wants. Thy will must be done. That is a spiritual law. That is a spiritual truth. You should only have one desire, and that is desire to break the chains of reincarnation. The one desire to know God, to know yourself, to know soul. That should be your only desire. Letter R vibrates on the ninth level. The self is unselfish, but the ego focuses on the I once it enters the flesh. It is no longer unselfish. It views life as us versus them. What's in it for me? God is unselfish. That's self evidence of all of the gifts that's found within the one, the water, the air, the mountains, the moon, the diamonds, and the pearls. God is unselfish. But when a soul enters into the flesh, it no longer remembers that it is a soul, and it starts to identify with the flesh and the ego and the I. And so, therefore, its concern is, well, what about me? It's us versus them. It becomes very possessive, becomes very selfish, becomes very greedy, right? That's when the soul loses its consciousness once it incarnates into the flesh. Now, the soul wants the flesh to understand that it is not flesh and blood, that it is of God, but it's an ongoing battle because the flesh is too busy enjoying itself in the material illusion. Okay? So, letter N vibrates on the fifth level. The flesh searches for entertainment and adventure. It darts from one excitement to the next. It seeks satisfaction and happiness in the outer world, but more often than not, it finds disappointment. You're going to find disappointment in the world because the world is a cosmic illusion. It's like a ghost. You grab it and then you lose it. You cannot hold on to the material world. The body is material. You're not going to hold on to it. You're going to drop it at some point in time. You still exist because you was never the body. But we pursue things hoping that it will bring us happiness and joy, but but it is brief. It flees, right? It's not everlasting. The only thing that's everlasting is God, and you're part of God. You have to learn to get in touch with what you are, which is a soul. Okay? Letter A vibrates on the first level. When a soul enters the flesh, its main objective is survival. If it gets the glory in pursuit of fame, wealth, family, love, shelter, and food, these are the things that the ego go after. These are the things that the ego wants. These are the pursuits. Very little time is devoted to what you are, the soul, to realize the soul. Once the soul is realized, then all is given unto you without the entrapments. You understand? Once you achieve your self realization, you don't forget. So you can play on the playground, but you never take your eyes off of who you are and what you are, the soul. This is why great ones like Krishna and Jesus, they can incarnate on the planet Earth, but they don't get caught up. That's why the great master say, be in the world, but not of the world. You understand? Do not become attached to the ghost, to the dream, to the Maya, to the cosmic illusion. The letter L vibrates on the third level. A soul cries out to the flesh, not to forget its kingdom, but the flesh's consciousness is elsewhere. Far too often, it hesitates to follow its inner guidance. Doubt sets in and fear. The number pattern for eternal is 5259523. Under observation, the number 5 repeats 3 times. The mind's chatter and the world drowns out a soul's voice. So the 5 repeats 3 times. So that means the number 3 is at play, which is noise. We are so bombarded by noise that we can't hear the voice of God. We can't hear our souls, right? And when you multiply the 3 5s together, you come back to the number 6, which is what God is. Love. Number 6 is love. But it's pure love without stain. So when multiplied 3 times 5, number 6 is revealed to offer further insights into what a soul is. Absolute love. The flesh seeks love but only finds fragments. The number pattern for eternal vibrates on the 31st level. When you add the 5 plus 2 plus 5 plus 9 plus 5 plus 2 plus 3, it vibrates on the 31st level, which is reduced to the box. A soul must free itself from its karma, which brings it back repeatedly through reincarnation as long as it has wants and desires. They must be fulfilled, for that will must be done. Because, see, you're God. When you want something, it must come to pass. If not now, then later. If not in this life, in a future life. That is part of what you are, the ability to manifest, the ability to bring forth creation. But you are not created. You're not created. You understand? You bring forth creation. But as long as you have desires and wants, then you must receive it. And that might mean hundreds of lifetimes for you to be able to receive it. So you should only have one desire, one want, is to get out the wheel of reincarnation, to remember your soul, to remember God. It's in the flesh's best interest only to want God, but far too often the material world is tempting, and the flesh takes a bite from the poisonous fruit and suffers in the tree of life called cosmic illusion. Here is an affirmation to help you, to keep you grounded to your truth that you are a soul. Just repeat God, Christ, Guru. Let that be your ongoing affirmation, your ongoing thought pattern. And that will keep you grounded in this material playground so you don't get lost. So you don't get lost emotionally, so you don't get lost physically, and you won't get lost mentally. And you'll find yourself being found spiritually. God, Christ, guru. That energy will spiritualize the flesh, and the flesh will become more in tune to the soul. The flesh will understand that it's partaking in a dream, and it will learn to have better discipline and better control, because right now the flesh is out of control. It creates so much havoc for itself: overeating, over drinking, drugs, sexual appetite, not being able to control the emotions of, hatred and jealousy and prejudices and condemning, um, not staying faithful. I mean, it just gets lost. And so, God, Christ, Guru will help the flesh become more in tune with the soul. So, until the next video, peace.